What's going on, YouTube? It's Senseichi here. Sorry for last week. I had some dog stuff going on with Ella. She's kind of not doing so great in her back and neck area, so she had to get some acupuncture done. But she's on the mend. She's doing a lot better. Thank you for asking. Today we're going to talk about sparring analysis. I'm going to analysis my sparring. Analyze my sparring. Let's get started. Okay, let's analyze my sparring. I'm just gonna break down what I'm thinking. Let's do it. Okay, let's talk about that counterpunch. So this is what I notice. Right when he fades forward, right there, he drops his body weight, and I can see his back leg here kind of locked out, ready to push forward. So when I notice that, you could see my demeanor, I start to lean backwards over here. So as I lean backwards, what I'm doing is I'm creating the distance and I'm getting ready to counterpunch him. So as I'm solidifying my base and my stance back there, I'm loading up that backhand to throw to punch. Now, right when I see him start to engage right here, I fade back one skip, and I do a small to medium skip just to create enough space for him to engage to where I want him to fully commit to the charge. That way I can stop him and surprise him with my counterpunch. So as I go right here, my front hand will stick him right in the face with my counter jab, and then I will follow up with a counter punch. Now I notice right here that his left hand, as you can see it right here, caught me right in the stomach. So he committed to the charge fully, and even though I had him, he hit me right back. Granted, I hit him first. I threw that punch, and right when I threw it, I noticed he backed off, and you notice that my front hand is straightened out. I straighten out my front hand so I can keep the distance, so if he re-engages, I can kind of keep him away with that front hand as I disengage with my feet. Now in this spot, you can automatically see the moment he fades away, I start to engage, my body language changes, and I start to engage on him. So you see me start to kind of creep in just a little bit, small bounces towards him. Okay, now I did a counter round kick here, so check this out. As we go back a little bit, he starts to change his stance, okay? It's kind of a weird oblong stance he's got going on here. So as he starts to fade off to the side and repositions himself, he actually brings himself to my back leg. I don't encourage anyone to kick with their back leg off the start, but he kind of went into my back leg. So as he's fading towards that back leg, what I did is I stepped across with my left foot, and then my back leg hit a round kick. I hit him right in the stomach with it, and then I kind of made him stop for a second. So that was just like a one-off hit. I don't often do one-off hits. You can actually kind of see me start to bring my hands up ready to re-engage, but he started to back off and I didn't want to chase him, so therefore I just kept going and it kind of bounced around. Boom. Okay, so let's talk about this part right here. So right here, as you notice, he starts to engage in a whole lot. So he's going in, and that's a perfect time for me to set up my turning back kick, okay? So here's how this works out. In order for me to set up this turning back kick perfectly, I have to have him chase me. It's a counter turning back, so I want him to run into it and be kind of surprised by it. So I want him to engage that chase. So in order for me to kind of bait him out and kind of be like, here's the carrot, I let him go and I'm skipping back, and when I get to this spot right here, you can see me squat low. The reason why I'm squatting low is because I'm getting enough base to set up a quick back kick. My stance is relatively small because I want a quick turn. So right when he starts to engage that high hand, I notice his stance is long. I let him get really close to me. Therefore, all I have to do is turn. My foot goes out, and boom, I stick him with that back kick right in the stomach. Hit him perfectly, and it bounces right off his chest. Okay, now, in this next part, I threw my hook kick to his head. Normally, like I said, I don't throw back leg kicks, but what had happened here, he engaged with his front foot, so he got really close. It was perfect setup for a hook kick because he got close and didn't do anything. If you get close to your partner and you don't do anything, expect for something to happen to you. I swung my back leg up, wrapped it right around his head, and if you notice right there, I made the tiniest bit of contact with his head, but he did a great job of fading back and leaning right away from it. Puts him in a very dangerous spot because he's leaning over like that, but I was also kind of leaning back, throwing a one-off, and I didn't really follow up from there. Notice I disengaged when I was done, and so did he, so it created a nice bit of space for us. I'm engaging little steps with my feet to try and inch in. Okay, let's talk about this part right here. So I noticed that he's starting to engage. You can see him start to lead out with his front foot. So like right here, I noticed that his stance right here, he starts to engage his feet right here, okay? So as that engagement happens, I start to lean backwards at a 45. So I'm backing up to kind of get a head start on my fade and my defense. So as I start to go back, he's starting to chase me. I try to throw the counter punch. He actually backs off right at the exact moment, and I don't get to hit that counter punch. Now, he is a defensive fighter. There's different kinds of fighters we have. Defensive fighters are very elusive. They're very kind of like scared. They move away really quickly because they don't want to get attacked. Okay, right here he throws a one and stop. Now I notice when he comes up in this kind of funky leaning back position, I know that he's going to do a one technique and then stop. The one and stop is perfect for counter charging. So the moment he throws that leg out, notice how I'm inching forward. I get right out of the way of the kick and I immediately charge in with that back hand. Now, notice my front hand right here. As my front hand is is out. It is actually blocking. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of blurry. I'm blocking his front hand and getting it out of my way. While I do that, you can notice that his body language, he's leaning backwards, and then I start throwing my right hand to follow up. Boom, right there, and I tag him right in the chest. Then I hit left to his face, right to his head, left, and I start throwing a barrage of left hand, right hand crosses right to his head as I charge him. I noted he's backing away. I got him on the rope, so he's kind of leaning back, and I want to charge on that. And I know that he's being very elusive. So right here, the moment the charge was done, I immediately disengaged and created space because I want to control the match. If I'm constantly being the one to keep the gap open, I get to control how the match goes. Whether he goes first, I go first, I get to determine that. If I stay close to him and I let him engage on me and stay close to me the whole time, he gets to determine the match, and I don't want that. Okay, right here I try to throw a turning heel kick. I'm all about shock and awe. I feel like the more shock and awe I do, my partner will be kind of more afraid of me, or they'll be more concerned about me, I want to say. That's a better way to say it. He'll be more concerned than the fact that I'm going to be throwing these kind of weird, sketchy, sneaky techniques, and he'll constantly be on his guard, which makes it easy for me to kind of keep him at bay. Therefore, I don't have to worry about him charging me all the time. So I tried to set this up by doing this. I noticed he was charging, so since he was charging, I let him get really close because I want the kick to wrap around the back of his head. So as I start to let him get close, the moment he starts, notice right here, I'm up and then I drop low and I quickly pivot and I wrap that kick right around his head, and I miss him by that much because he's really good at that lean away thing that he's been doing. So I missed his head, and I'm so bummed about it because I felt like I came back from that nice and controlled, and notice I keep my eyes on him as I go away because I don't want him to charge me again. Okay, so right in here, let's talk about this little altercation. What I tried to do is called a check sweep, turning scissor sweep. So I'm checking him. It's like a reverse check. So I'm checking with my front leg right here, right there actually. You could see my leg right here checking his front leg. So when I'm checking him, I'm hooking his knee to prevent him from moving away. So I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of holding it with the back of my heel. So as I hold it with the back of the heel, I immediately turn and I try to get that scissor right here across his belly. So notice as his foot goes across his stomach, my other foot slips out and he's able to step away. Again, this guy's really good at being defensive, really good at being elusive. So as he fades away, I immediately notice he fades away, and I knew I lost it. So I knew I had to keep my defense because I was on the ground. So the moment I saw him get towards me, he started to engage towards me. I got on my hands and knees and I jumped and I did a heel kick and I tried to kick him. I hit him a little bit on the back and then he got right on top of me and he tried to pummel me. I got myself back up. I got on top. He did a great job of doing like an elevator sweep to roll off to the side. And then I got a half guard and I started punching him in the head a bunch. And then I said to him, hey, we cool? We good? You good? You good? And I stopped for a minute and then we got back up. Okay, so right here, I knew that I had to get the scissor sweep. I needed to succeed with the scissor. I had the chance to do it once. I want to do it again. So right here, as you see him starting to fade away, you can watch me start to kind of try to set it up with my stance. You can see me kind of creep. So right now I'm making a series of little steps, okay? So let's talk about these little steps. What I want is I want for us to be in an open stance. That means his right leg to my left or my right leg to his left. So as we start to go, he takes a step back. I take a step forward. I thought I set it up, and before he had a chance to step back again, I quickly switched stance, and now we're both in an open stance. My right front to his left front, I'm at a perfect spot to scissor, so I'm ready to go. So you can see me start to get low, my shoulders come up, I'm ready to crunch down. Right here, he starts to engage, and I lead out with my front hand. So my front hand is right here. So what I do with that front hand is I don't want to let him get away this time. So instead of me grabbing his front arm, I'm gonna wrap my hand around the back side of him to kind of hug him and hold him close so he can't get away. So right when I get in there, I skip up, I sit kind of on his hip, I wrap my legs around his body. I'm able to get him this time. I knew it. I was a little too far behind him, but it still worked out. And I brought him down with my body weight. And as soon as I brought him down with my body weight, I came right over the top to try to ridge hand him. I didn't quite get the ridge hand, so I brought my foot over and ended up like tapping him with the bottom of my foot, like kind of like an axe kick right on the top of his head, and it worked out really well. He was trying to get back up, so I was able to ankle lock his legs so he couldn't get back up and attack me. And then I was like, all right, we good, let's get back up. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was enjoyable. This is something a little new. I don't often do analysis or like kind of color guy anything ever. If you want me to do things like this in the future, please let me know. If you want me to critique and talk about it or analyze your sparring, let me know in the comments below, and then you could send me an email of a video of you fighting. I would love to be able to see it and kind of give you some tips and pointers to help get you better at it. Please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified every time a video comes out. I put out a video every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let me know you like the video by smashing that thumbs up button. Let's get as many likes as we can in this video. It lets me know that you enjoyed what I did and I can keep making more of this. Until next time, guys, this is Sensei Ichi. Tang.